In your book, Accelerate, subtitle is 20 High Performance Questions to Supercharge Your Business. Each of the questions has 3 possible answers. And then at the back of the book, there's this score sheet. Talk to us a little bit about what your thoughts were there with the 20 questions, with the score sheet. Who should read that book, and what do you hope they would get out of it?
I was doing consulting with business owners about all those topics, but I really didn't have a good, I hadn't snapped the chalk line around it. What is it that I was really trying to get to with them? And so I challenged myself to sort of distill that into 20 areas. And then, so I just, in the book, I write down, so for example, is your an accountant is he a historian, or is he a like Carnac, the amazing prognosticator? Does he help you, operate your business and see a bit of the future? And I'd say the A answer was where most of the clients are. No, my clients, my CPA is a historian. And the B answer is, he helps out a little bit now and then. He's, has a budget. And the C answer is, he's my he's my trusted business advisor. He fills in the gaps where I need him filled. He's been right most of the time. He's assessed risk. He's helped me grow the business to places where I never thought it would be. So, and as I went through and thought about the A answer, the top answer was where most businesses are. And so the idea is at the end, I think that the top answer, the A answer was, or the C answer was the 20-pointer, the B was a 10-pointer. And if you answered the A answer, that you got 0 for that. So at the end, if you didn't score at least 150, you needed help. And every client that took it was like they weren't even close to 150. So that's helped me. I use that as a basis when I coach CEOs and CFOs, and just sort of I start with those 20 questions, which leads to dozens and dozens more. But almost the idea of having sort of a very strict way of looking at their business, that's not the entrepreneurial mindset. That they're much more freewheeling. And I think it's this isn't an original thing. I don't even know where I read it, but they were saying entrepreneurs only have 2 lenses. There's a wide angle lens to look for opportunities and threats, and there's a microscopic lens to concentrate on that. Then it goes back out to the wide angle. And the middle ground, the middle management ground, where all the processes and metrics are, that's not their thing. And so, and of course, the business is about that. The book is about creating processes and how one turns a profitable business into a valuable business, which isn't, one does not necessarily equal the other, right?
Yeah. So when you consult with the business and you walk through the 20 questions with them and they get their score, and, obviously some things stick out as problems or opportunities. How do you decide which one they should start working on?
Well, being a financial guy, we usually start with that because I know the most about that, right? And usually that leads to various other things. The relationship with their bank, is their bank facility adequate? It often leads, believe it or not, into the sales, because it's like, well, your margins are below industry averages, your growth is below industry averages. What's going on here? Are your sales guys giving things away? Are you used to be involved in that? Are you still involved in that? So you find, looking at the numbers and the budget leads you into different areas where you think they may be a little bit behind the curve. And it might be innovation. When's the last time that you added a new product? And one of the reasons that your margins are shrinking is everything you got on your sales floor now is a Me Too product. When's your next new one coming out? That's where you made the real money. So, I hadn't thought about that. So most of it's, when you start talking about it, becomes pretty obvious to the business owner, but it's not obvious in advance.
Question 4 of the 20 questions. The last time you had a dispute with an employee, did you end up with a black eye? Talk to us about that.
I think the world's gotten way better at this because the whole human resource function is looked upon now as a professional. That's a profession. Handling people, it used to be, this is what we do and you're going to like it, right? But you can't do that anymore. But I think particularly business entrepreneurs tend to be way too flexible with that. And, person A is super valuable, person B may not be. So this person, you don't adhere to all the rules with them. And then it becomes a jump ball, and usually you lose on that. And as litigious as everybody is these days, you don't want to be in a situation where it looks like you've been not even-handed in how you've treated people or how you decided to let someone go. So, having a good employee manual, having a good employment contract, making sure everybody understands if you've got a non-compete covenant, making sure everybody understands what your benefits are and what they aren't, and what those benefits cost the company that they're providing to you, what your 401k plan looks like and whether that's competitive. It's funny how, for whatever, I think I've got a lot of clients who are extremely generous with their employees, and I'm blessed to have a lot of clients that do really well, and they're not afraid to share it. But one of the things that I had a conversation with one of the CFOs the other day, and he's like, we don't worry about what we call the hidden paycheck at the end of the year. Here's the FICA we paid for you. Here's what we paid for your health insurance. And while your W-2 said you made $82,500, it actually cost us $110,000 for you to work here. Either they already know that I don't understand it. And I said, I disagree with that. And I said, particularly they were losing people for 50 cents or $1 an hour when I knew their 401k plan was particularly generous, and so was their health insurance. So it's like, this is worth having this conversation. The people that work for you are smart. They may not be college educated, but they're technicians, and they're smart. They get it. But if you don't tell them that, they might think, well, it's just $1 an hour. It's $40. I'm gone.
Question number 7 deals with compensation. What advice do you give clients around compensating their employees?
We've had a lot of interesting conversations as part of my CEO coaching. And I think that one of the things people miss about compensation programs in general is trying to have some sort of you need to have a pay band that I'm going to be somebody that pays in this band. So we're going to be in the top 20%. We're going to be, and then have the service band that you're expecting them to produce to be congruent with what you pay them, and then have what you charge your customer congruent with both of those. And so I'm working. I coach some CFOs, and one of the problems with this, it's a service business, and the CFO has told me a number of times, these are not. They think they advertise themselves as we are top flight service providers in a certain industry. He said, but we pay low to middle, and we charge kind of middle of the road. So it's like, you need congruence. I mean, if you're going to be a top flight and charge top flight rates, then you have to pay top flight rates to the people, and that's how that works. The old, if you pay peanuts, you're going to get monkeys. It's just, but a lot of people think that that those don't need to be. You don't need a philosophy about it, but you do. And it's okay if you're going to be middle of the road. Hey, we're going to be the middle of the road, and we're going to pay in the middle of the road, and that's what that's going to be, and we're going to charge that way. Fine, and that's what you're probably selling on price, and I don't agree with that as a long-term business model. But if that's what you're doing, then okay, then make sure that that's what you do across the board.
When you're hiring people, whether it's for your CPA firm or your other businesses, what are the most important qualities you look for?
Well, I think that I mentioned this in the book. I think people are very enamored of resume skills, and that's great, And sometimes, you just you have, you have an extremely technical area you have to hire for, and that's that. And then you kind of have to deal with the personality that comes with that. We just had to hire somebody in that area, but we actually found somebody with a great personality that's also very technical. But overall, all things being equal, it's like, hey, find somebody that's going to be a cultural fit. And um, I think that one of the things that our recruiter does is he's sort of, I feel like, well, I know what he does. He pre-closes them on the culture before I even talk to him. So it's like, here's what we're about. Here's what it's like working here. It's high output, but it's also everybody's very fair. It's high. Everybody respects each other at the highest possible level. It's just not a place where disputes happen. And if that appeals to you, but everybody's engine does run at 9,000. So if that's kind of, if that's not you, then don't come here. If that is you, then we can move on to the next rung in the ladder. So I feel like that part is kind of already covered for me. I'm not a good interviewer because I'm trying to make them feel comfortable. At the end of the interview, I probably know a lot about them personally, and I know if they're an introvert or an extrovert, but I don't burrow into their skills. I have now gotten myself right. I have 10 questions that I do ask, and I do get the answers to those, and we compare those. But I'm a salesperson. Yeah, I'm the introverted salesperson who's always closing. So that's I'm closing them even if they're not the right person. So I'm not good at that. Somebody else needs to do it. I don't know if that's a good answer or not.